Have you ever stopped to think about your own life, your own growth, as a story? Today, we're going to break down this really powerful narrative that's told in just 12 simple scenes. Think of it as a kind of visual map for that universal journey we all take, from a tiny flicker of hope to a brilliant, shining light. So let's start right at the beginning. Every great story has to start somewhere, right? And this one begins with this single, really evocative line. It just sets a scene that I think we can all relate to. That feeling of a small idea, maybe a new beginning, or just a tiny little bit of hope, completely surrounded by the unknown. It's quiet, it's mysterious, and it immediately pulls you right in. So let's take a look at the first stage of this journey. This is what storytellers often call the call to adventure. It's where we meet our hero, in this case, the light, and see it face its very first challenge. Now, every story needs a conflict, but what's so cool here is that it's not some big external battle. The conflict is internal. It's between the light, which is all about hope and potential, and the darkness, which really just represents our own fear and our own doubt. This is a battle that's fought from within, right from the very start. And this brings us to the first really crucial decision. The light is weak, It's flickering, but it makes a choice. It chooses to act, and that is the real beginning of the journey. See, it doesn't start with strength or some big show of confidence. It starts with the simple decision to just move forward, no matter how small that step feels. Okay, so next up, we enter the struggle. This is the ordeal, where our hero is truly, truly tested. We're going to see how the light doesn't just survive the challenges it faces, but actually uses them to grow even stronger. The engine for growth in this story isn't a straight line. It's not like that at all. It's a cycle. The light stumbles, it dims, it falls. But then it learns something from that fall. And because it learned, it's able to rise again. Failure isn't the end of the story. It's actually the fuel for this repeatable process that builds real resilience. This line right here, man, this is the core message of the entire struggle. Failure isn't just some obstacle you have to get over. No, it's the very thing that forges your strength. The implication here is so powerful. Without the struggle, without the failures, the light could never, ever reach its full potential. And you can literally see that progression right here on this chart. The light starts as just a tiny spark. But through the struggle, it doesn't just get back to where it was. Its brightness more than doubles. By the end, its growth is absolutely exponential. And it's all fueled by the very challenges it had to face. So now we arrive at the climax of the whole narrative, the transformation. This is that incredible moment where the protagonist doesn't just win the battle, but is fundamentally changed by it. Let's see how this plays out for our little light. Before we see what happens, let's just quickly define this key idea. Transformation in a story, it isn't just about beating the bad guy. It's about a deep internal shift. For our light, the storyboard says the darkness no longer scared it. It didn't just push the darkness away. It grew so bright that the darkness itself just lost its power. This might just be the most powerful image in the entire story. The light transforms into a glowing human figure. And this reveals the true purpose of the whole journey. It was never just about becoming a brighter light. It was about self-actualization. It was about embodying its full potential and literally becoming the hero of its own story. And now, we come to the final act. After the journey, after the transformation, there's the return. And this is where the story makes a pivot, from being about the light to being about us. 4 simple words that change absolutely everything. The story flips from being about them to being about you. The entire journey we've just witnessed is reframed as a mirror. It's not just a nice metaphor anymore. It's a direct invitation. This is your story. So, what's the big lesson? What's the secret we bring back from this whole journey? Well, it boils down to this incredibly simple, totally actionable advice. You don't need a grand plan. You don't need immense courage to get started. You just need to start small. And then whatever you do, just stay moving. That's it. That's the secret. And finally, the ultimate call to action. After you start small and after you stay in motion, after you forge strength from your failures and transform from within, the final step is to share that. Don't hide your journey. Let the world see the light that you've become. We've followed the journey of this small light that appeared in the dark. We've broken down every step of its transformation. So now, the final question. It's for you. Since this is your story, what does your first scene look like?